In 1986, Batman had already been in development at Warner Brothers for some years and was considered by many to be jinxed. The studio couldn't agree on an approach. Several directors, including Ivan Reitman and Joe Dante, had come and gone. The latest to try his luck was Tim Burton, who had made only one feature, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Burton's career had begun years earlier with Vincent, a 5-minute blend of stop-motion and 2D animation that Burton created alongside Rick Heinrichs while they were both working at Disney. His conceptual work caught the eye of Disney producer Julie Hickson, and Burton was given a budget of $60,000 to create the animated short based on a children's story he had already written. Hickson lived and worked with Burton for many years in the 1980s, and the pair would team up to structure Burton's ideas for Batman into a coherent 3-act film treatment. Burton and Hickson's unfilmed treatment presents an exploration of Bruce Wayne's transformation into the Dark Knight, the origins of the Joker, and the introduction of Robin, while delving into Bruce's trauma and the tension between his dual identities. Burton was particularly interested in the psychological aspects of Bruce Wayne, influenced at that point by the comic book writings of Steve Englehart. Burton wanted his Batman to return to his roots as a creature of the night, a dark, tormented hero who walks the line between justice and vengeance. The treatment highlighted his trauma from witnessing his parents' murder and explored how that event shaped his dual identity as Batman. Burton seemed preoccupied with capturing the essence of the Joker as a madman whose crimes blurred the line between humor and horror. No doubt influenced by the art of Marshall Rogers, Rogers gave Batman an iconic silhouette, with a long, flowing cape and imposing presence that would become a defining feature of the character in later adaptations. Burton and Hickson's sleek, detailed depictions of Gotham City evoke a gothic noir atmosphere, setting the stage for the brooding, shadowy figure of Batman to emerge from the darkness. Act 1, titled Loss, opens with a vivid and eerie image of the Joker laughing maniacally. He is described as, quote, shock-white skin, radioactive green hair standing on end as if permanently electrified, and red lips slashed into a chin so pointed it's like a demented exaggeration of a clown face. The narrative then transitions to a sweeping view of Gotham City, described as a futuristic, dreamlike metropolis with elements reminiscent of Metropolis and Fritz Lang's style. We are introduced to Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, giving an impassioned speech in court against mobster Rupert Thorne, highlighting his concerns about crime infiltrating unions. Bruce, only 10 years old, watches his father with admiration. The scene then shifts to the Wayne family home, where the Waynes are depicted as a loving and playful family. Alfred, the family butler, adds to the warmth with his dry humor. The Waynes enjoy a lively family dinner filled with laughter and love. Thomas receives a threatening phone call related to his fight against Thorne, shaking his composure, but he hides it from his family. Thomas reveals his concerns to Alfred about potential retribution from Thorne's mob, expressing fears for his family's safety. Alfred reassures him, vowing to protect them as if they were his own. Martha Wayne, Thomas's wife, dressed in a fairy costume, invites the family to a masquerade ball. Bruce is equally excited, dressed as a harlequin, while Thomas dons an elaborate bat costume for the opera Der Fledermaus. Their happy family dynamic is captured by Alfred in a home video before they head to the opera. At the opera, two suspicious characters fixate on the Wayne family, foreshadowing a looming danger. Afterward, the family leaves the ball and, in a carefree moment, decides to walk home through the rain-soaked streets. The family shares a tender moment, blissfully unaware of the tragedy that's about to unfold. A Mr. Softy ice cream truck passes by, driven by a 17-year-old with green hair, red lips, white skin. It's the Joker. He guns down the Waynes in a drive-by. Bruce catches a fleeting glimpse of the shooter. For a brief moment, In a gaze that will forever shape Bruce's future, their eyes meet, lock, and just as quickly the truck speeds away to the eerie sound of Mr. Softy's jingle. The event shatters Bruce's life and sets him on the path to becoming Batman. We then witness the transformation of Bruce Wayne from a troubled young man into Batman, coupled with the Joker's escalating reign of terror on Gotham. Bruce Wayne's journey into becoming Batman intensifies as his secret life develops further. His basement hideaway grows into a more elaborate Batcave, with advanced equipment, labs, and a trophy collection. Only Alfred is aware of its existence, hidden behind a secret panel in the Wayne Mansion's library. Each night, Bruce watches a haunting home movie of his parents, particularly focusing on his father dressed as a bat, deepening his emotional scar and unresolved grief. Bruce's nightly ritual of watching the home video of his father reinforces his deep emotional scars. The bat, intended as a joke by his father, takes on a profound symbolic weight, representing both his trauma and his destiny. Each night, his last impression before oblivion is his father in a bat costume, bookended by his mother and his younger self, gesturing in what was intended as a silly gag, but which in the boy's haunted mind has taken on new proportions, beckoning him into some imagined reunion in the silent hereafter of the screen. Years have passed. A newspaper screams the headline, "Joker escapes prison, vows revenge against Mayor Rupert Thorne." Commissioner Gordon promises immediate action.
Every day is the same.
Possess the highest security measures in the nation. Although he may have escaped his cell, there is no way he can get out of this facility. I repeat, you are in no danger from the Joker.
Bruce is now a handsome young man. He takes a call from Commissioner Gordon. Gordon asks if he's seen the headlines, and hints that he's worried about Bruce's reaction. Bruce assures him that he'll leave the Joker to the proper authorities. His eyes, however, say otherwise. That day, the Joker begins a carefully masterminded reign of terror in Gotham City that starts with a whimper, but builds to a bang. He releases all the animals from the Gotham Zoo, creating panic in the streets, especially when a lion gamely gets on a loaded bus at one stop and casually gets off at another. He preempts various television shows, ridiculing guest stars, interrupting love scenes, inventing the news, forecasting fake weather, generally disrupting and infiltrating the airwaves. He has all the windows of Gotham's many towering skyscrapers painted black so that no one can see out. He makes all the subways go backwards, and for an entire hour of primetime television, all shows are blocked out and replaced with this message: all work and no play makes the Joker a dull boy. Act 2 is titled Batman vs. Joker. Bruce's internal conflict culminates in his first appearance as Batman. He dons the cowl and studies himself in the mirror. He accepts the quote-unquote terror of life and his readiness to face it. The Prince of Darkness is born. With a magnificent cape streaming behind him, Batman slips out a window and is gone. Batman prowls the city, using his specially designed suction gloves and knee pads, which enable him to scale the walls of buildings. It's Christmas time. He glides through the twinkling city, as close to experiencing joy as we've seen him since childhood. Christmas decorations sparkle gaily. Arriving at Gotham Square, Batman encounters a curious spectacle. The Joker, surrounded by shocked onlookers, is laughing insanely and, via some sort of elongated fuse, launching the beautifully decorated 100-foot-tall Christmas tree into the night like a rocket. Since the Joker missed the last 15 Christmases in prison, he plans to expunge Christmas from Gotham City. Much to the Joker's pleasure, Batman arrives, challenges him, and they have their first confrontation. A violent fight which rages through the square and eventually surfaces on a rooftop in front of a gargantuan clock face. The fight ends when the Joker pushes Batman off the roof. He somersaults 20 stories and only narrowly misses death. When Batman looks up, the Joker is gone. All of this is witnessed from below by hundreds of breathless spectators and stunned police, creating a flurry of speculation in the next morning's news media. What and who is the Batman? Is he another flamboyant criminal or a crime fighter? Is he here to vanquish the Joker or is he an ally? As the days pass, the rampant mayhem perpetrated by the Joker increases drastically, achieving total panic throughout the city. His pranks careen from the simply whimsical, he paints the entire city wildly candy-striped colors, to the downright dangerous. With the expertise of a master politician, he coerces various union leaders, inducing them to order strikes so that the city is virtually immobilized without water, power, gasoline, subways, and food. Indiscriminately, he has bombs set off at various locations throughout the city, always accompanied by a pathological joke message relating to the specific location. In what has by now become a nightly ritual, he preempts television, often dressed in some garish costume, to merrily announce some new scheme with maniacal delight. Each night, Bruce dons his bat costume and scours the city, all the while finding his sea legs as the masked crime fighter. Single-handedly, he foils a jewel heist, a violent mugging in the city park, and interrupts a gangland murder taking place at a Gotham City pier. Prowling like a cat, he searches feverishly for the Joker's lair. In one subplot, Bruce meets Silver St. Cloud at the opera. After saving her from a chaotic attack by the Joker, he begins to develop a romantic relationship with her, marking a significant emotional breakthrough for him. However, the Joker's chaos continues to escalate, with him using deadly grimacing gas to kill innocent people. In parallel, Commissioner Gordon seeks to form an alliance with Batman to help combat the Joker's menace. This alliance sets the stage for Batman's role as Gotham's protector and introduces the iconic bat signal as a means of summoning him. The act culminates in a tragic event during a charity circus show. The circus has been infiltrated by the Joker, a fact which becomes uncomfortably obvious when we notice, while scaling the performers, three familiar characters. The Penguin, nattily dressed as the circus ringmaster, the Riddler, artfully disguised as a clown, and Catwoman, decked out as a trapeze artist and dangling gracefully from the rafters on a trapeze. After the requisite fanfare and preliminary acts, the main attraction of the evening is introduced. The Flying Graysons, the world's most renowned high-wire act, comprised of John and Mary Grayson and their 10-year-old son, Dick. Their act is particularly dangerous because they work without a net. After executing a spectacular series of aerial somersaults, the family leaps in tandem from their high pedestal, aiming for a waiting trapeze. The ropes break, due to judiciously applied acid by Catwoman, and the three tumble through space, accompanied by horrified screams from the audience. Miraculously, young Dick's lighter weight causes him to veer into a nearby pole, deflecting his fall into a stack of hay bales piled along the sidelines. The effect is that of a baby bird falling out of a tree into a nest. His parents, however, fall to their deaths. Bruce is jolted to his feet as if by an electric shock. Immediately, the Joker appears high above the audience, screaming like a harlequin banshee, and claims credit for the foul deed. In the accompanying chaos, he and his minions effect their escape in a smokescreen of fire and confetti bombs. The death of the Graysons mirrors Bruce's own traumatic loss of his parents, triggering a powerful sense of déjà vu. Moved by the tragedy, Bruce takes Dick in, vowing that the boy will never be alone, foreshadowing the eventual creation of Robin. 3 is titled Retribution Family. Here, the tension between Bruce Wayne's dual life as Batman and his newfound role as a father figure to Dick Grayson takes center stage, while the Joker's maniacal schemes push Gotham City to the brink of chaos. The act begins with the introduction of Dick Grayson's integration into Wayne Manor, symbolizing a mutual healing process for them both. The Joker, now dressed as the Mad Hatter, audaciously runs for mayor of Gotham, turning the city into a carnival-like war zone. The Joker guns down his rival Rupert Thorne on live television, a quintessential Joker move that blends spectacle with cruelty. As the city spirals further into madness, Bruce Wayne is driven to action. He decides to run for mayor in retaliation against the Joker's terror-filled campaign to confront Gotham's social and political turmoil head-on. His public persona contrasts sharply with his role as Batman, underscoring his struggle to balance these identities. The Joker's endgame is revealed during a Christmas Eve parade filled with deadly gas-filled floats, a perverse twist on Gotham's holiday festivities. The sinister plan involves releasing a toxic gas during the parade. In the climactic showdown between Batman and the Joker, we tap into one of Batman's core psychological dilemmas, the temptation to kill the Joker. As Batman's darker impulses bubble toward the surface, it's Robin's surprise arrival that shifts the dynamic, reaffirming the bond between them. Robin's presence not only adds levity, but also represents hope and renewal, preventing Batman from crossing the line into murder. The confrontation in the museum, featuring a mid-air battle, a symbolic explosion of Joker-themed floats that contain grimacing gas. Anyone who isn't wearing a Joker mask will be killed. This is a lunatic insurance for winning the election. When the votes are counted, we see that Bruce Wayne has won the election. The Joker's revelation that he killed Thorne, the man responsible for the murder of Bruce's parents, adds a cruel irony to their rivalry, offering Batman a twisted sense of closure. The treatment concludes with a bittersweet resolution. Emerging victorious from his first epic of many epic battles, Batman hands the Joker over to the authorities. But the Joker's parting words, "I'll keep our little secret," ensure that their deadly game will continue. The final scene is with Bruce, Dick, and Alfred enjoying a joyful Christmas morning, sitting around a magical Christmas tree in the Wayne Manor living room, laughing and opening a mountain of presents. Happiness fills the air. Finally, when they've waded through all the presents, Silver notices one last present nestled under the tree. Bruce reaches down to retrieve it. Bright purple and green striped paper. A toy Jack-in-the-Box nestled in the bow. We fade out to the sound of the Joker's laughter. The end. Burton put together various iconic moments from Batman's comic history, particularly those that focus on Bruce Wayne's psychology, his relationship with his parents, and his journey to becoming Batman. To cite a few examples, in Detective Comics number 235 from 1956, Thomas Wayne wears a bat suit to the costume party. Martha Wayne accompanies him in a butterfly-like costume. Years later, Bruce Wayne uncovers this past via a film recording and realizes that his decision to become Batman was subconsciously inspired by his father's batsuit. Burton retains the costume party element, but he tweaks Martha's costume from a butterfly to a fairy. He simplifies the narrative, combining several moments from the comics. Instead of Bruce remembering the batsuit subconsciously, Burton explicitly shows Bruce watching a home movie filmed by Alfred of his parents in their costumes. Bruce interprets his father's gesture in the video as a beckoning to follow in his footsteps. Bruce's realization about his father's influence is separate from other moments in Batman lore, such as Bruce's decision to become a vigilante and the subsequent inspiration behind the batsuit. But Burton merges these moments. In his treatment, the night of the Wayne murders is also the night of the costume party. Bruce's epiphany about the Batsuit comes years later, while rewatching the home movie. His father's gesture on film becomes symbolic of a quote-unquote call to action for Bruce to follow the legacy of Thomas Wayne, turning the home movie into a symbolic link between Bruce's present and his past. In the earliest Batman comics from 1939, Batman is often seen prowling the city, scaling walls using suction gloves and knee pads. Burton draws directly from this imagery, describing Batman as using specially designed suction gloves and knee pads in his early patrols, capturing that same pulp-inspired, gritty heroism from Batman's debut. And in the 1970s classic Detective Comics number 475, Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers introduced the iconic Laughing Fish storyline. In this story, the Joker exposes fish to a gas that gives them grotesque Joker-like grins. Screenwriter Sam Hamm had a deal at Warner Brothers. His patron at the studio was a young, up-and-coming executive named Bonnie Lee. Lee's other protege was Tim Burton. Hamm was a lifelong Batman fan, and he made it known that he'd like to get involved. One day, Lee told him that Burton was hoping he might drop by his office. Sam popped in, asking what was up. Burton said, "I was wondering, would you have any interest in working on this Batman thing?" And the rest, as they say, is history.